If there was a peak in X-Men 97, it would be episode 5. Episode 5 is the one. Like, this was the episode where everybody was like, oh, wait a minute, hold on. This ain't no regular superhero show. I love episode 5. The Emmy nominated episode 5. It should have won because this right here, this episode really captured what goes down in the comic books regarding the X-Men. Like, this happens on a regular for them. And there has not been an animated show to like really capture and demonstrate the magnitude that mutants go through. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the review with episode 5 and check out my shirt. My boy Gambit. I mean, come on, if you've seen the episode, you realize why I'm wearing this shirt. The GOAT. Shout out to my boy Gambit. Theme song. So first we have Magneto, Gambit, and Rogue. They are in the Blackbird. They are on their way to Genosha. And Gambit and Magneto, they've been taking shots at each other the entire time. It's a love triangle between the two of them and Rogue. And y'all already know how I feel about Magneto and Rogue being together. Yuck! Yuck! So they arrive at Genosha and we see how beautiful the city is. We see mutants living together in prosperity, having peace, having joy, and just living a life outside of persecution and bigotry from the friends of humanity and humans that despise mutants. So they land and they are greeted by Madeline Pryor. We have not seen her since episode 3. So she is in Genosha.
The interim council wanted an X-Men. Luckily, you guys could spare a gene.
And then we are also joined by Valerie Cooper. She's also in Genosha. Now, I'm trying to figure out why is Valerie Cooper in Genosha, because she's not a mutant. But I'm assuming she's there for the human and mutant relations between the United States government and the UN, and Genosha becoming a full-fledged country. I guess I just don't understand, like, why she had to be in Genosha, but okay.
I confess, I was surprised to receive an invite bearing the United Nations seal.
Yeah, I hear it's called The Future.
But then we get an appearance from one of my other favorite X-Men of all time.
Dang, I'll be a wet bird on a live wire. How the heck are you, furball?
Meine Freunde!
I just love how Nightcrawler is introduced in this episode. He keeps teleporting everywhere. He's showcasing joy and excitement, being around Rogue, being around Gambit, and seeing Magneto, and welcoming them to Genosha. So Nightcrawler teleports Gambit and Rogue downtown to Genosha, and they see that there's a live music event happening in the streets, kind of like a festival. We see Multiple Man, we see Exodus, we see Dazzler, we see Cypher. So many comic book X-Men characters just there having a good time. The cameos was just crazy in this entire episode. And then we get a beautiful moment between Nightcrawler and Gambit.
Your poker face is very poor.
Hey, mind your beeswax, furball. It does not take a priest to see you and Rogue's souls touch in every gaze. Just marry Isabel and be done. Scoundrels like me, we too busy for love. Too busy sinning. There is no love without sin. For love is best measured in what we forgive.
I love this interaction. Number one, Gambit and Nightcrawler, they are in my top 5 favorite X-Men of all time. Like, I love those characters. But 2, Gambit and Nightcrawler, contrary to popular belief, they don't have that much interaction in the comic books, which is so weird because when Gambit first joined the X-Men, Nightcrawler was on a different team. He was on the Excalibur, a British mutant team. And then by the time Nightcrawler came back to the X-Men, Gambit wasn't a team member. I think he was casted out because of the whole Marauder situation. So they never had that many panels together. And then when Gambit and Rogue got married, Nightcrawler was acting very weird. He was acting very skeptical. I remember it was a scene between him and Iceman. They were talking about Rogue choosing to marry Gambit, and Rogue had to put them in check because how are y'all gonna talk about my soon-to-be husband before the wedding. Like, I'm getting ready to get married and y'all are talking about Gambit. How does that work? The only time I can remember them being on a team and working together is when Jean came back into the X-Men comic books and she led X-Men Red and Gambit and Nightcrawler was on the team. But even with that, it wasn't that much interaction. So I said all this to say, seeing Gambit and Nightcrawler interact in this episode, in this scene, it's a beautiful moment because it's such a rare occasion and I absolutely love it. So then back at the X Mansion, there's a reporter by the name of Trish Tilby and she is doing like 60 minutes CNN, Fox News, sit down one-on-one with each X-Men team member. I guess to portray to the world that mutants aren't that bad. But this kind of doesn't make any sense because it's like the X-Men have saved the world countless times. I don't know why you guys need to get to know them personally in order for you to believe that mutants are cool people. Like, all mutants are not bad. It's like, y'all celebrate the Avengers, y'all celebrate the Fantastic Four, but when it comes to the X-Men, all of a sudden it's a problem. I never understood that. So then we see Jean. She is outside at a lake and she is using her telekinesis to warp the water. She is sifting through her memories because, as we said in episode 3, Mr. Sinister took her memories and gave it to Madeline Pryor's. And then when they fought, she got the memories back, but it was kind of like an overloaded situation. So she's just trying to, you know, sift through, trying to figure out what memories she lived through, which memories she did not live through, and really trying to relearn who she is as a person. And then we see Wolverine.
I know all about drowning in memories. Best to look up and keep paddling.
And despite the attraction and the crush that Wolverine has for Jean, this scene made so much sense because Wolverine, he doesn't remember his past. When he was under the Weaponettes facility and they bonded the metals to his bones, it erased his memory. So he never remembered his past. So the fact that Jean is having a difficult time trying to remember her past and sift through her memories, you have Wolverine there is like, look, I know exactly what you're going through because I battle this every single day. And that kind of adds a lot of nuance to their relationship and their attraction for each other. And I was like, oh, you know what? That was a moment I didn't get the first time when I saw this episode. But after rewatching it time and time again, I was like, yeah, that makes so much sense. But what doesn't make sense is Jean kissing Wolverine.
Why nobody called the cops?
So back at the X Mansion, Scott is having a solo interview with Trish Tilby, and it goes left because Trish tries to call Scott out saying, you lied about having a baby with Jean. And it's like, he didn't lie because he didn't have a baby with Jean. He had a baby with Madeline Pryor. And regardless of the situation, it's none of your damn business. So Scott spazzed on her.
I spoke to a Dr. Bryans there. He said you told your teammate told Rose.
You can't say thank you. Because I have to stomach your questions and prove that I'm a person. I lie because the truth is we're nothing like you. Thank God, because it's the only reason you people are still alive.
Girl, who do you think you are, Barbara Walters? Just relax. Just take my answer for what it is and keep it going. Stop prying on the situation. Like, he had to give his son up because he was sick. And not only that, Scott just found out that the woman that he married, the woman that he had a child with, is a clone of the woman that he truly loves. So yeah, it's a very touchy situation. And Trish has no emotional intelligence of how she's navigating this interview. So I'm glad that Scott went off on her. It was so deserved. Now back at Genosha, we have a council, a Genosha council. And this so reminds me of the comic books, particularly the X-Men Krakoa era with the Council of Mutants. The Quiet Council is what they're called. So we have Sebastian Shaw. He's from the Hellfire Club. We have Maura McTaggart. She is not a mutant. She is a human human geneticist, and her husband, Banshee, he's a mutant. He has the power to scream. We have Callisto. She's the mutant leader of the Morlocks. We have Madeline Pryor, you know, the Jean Grey clone. And we have Magneto. So they're sitting around discussing Magneto leading the X-Men and how it impacted the mutant community and the importance of it. And then I believe they are vouching to have like a king figure be a part of Genosha. You know, like we have the council, we have a government body, but we need like a solo leader so the people of Genosha can look up to one particular person and feel empowered. And then we are joined by another one of my favorite mutants that is in my top 5, Emma Frost.
We need a handsome jawline that begs trust and respect. A poster child king.
And it hasn't even been 30 seconds yet of Emma Frost being on screen, and already we got a bitchy moment from her.
Careful, Miss Frost. Don't go filling this man's head notions.
Whose charitable idea was it to let a human be on the council? Were no others available to weep over semantics?
I love Emma Frost. She's no damsel in distress. She doesn't mix her words. She's not politically correct. She's going to say what's on her mind. And if you feel some type of way, she does not care. I love me some Emma Frost. So Magneto is considering their offer of being the sole leader of Genosha. And he's like, well, I'll do it, but under one condition. I want Rogue to lead by my side. And here we go.
You think making me your queen means we're getting back together?
We would be lucky to have you. Lead.
Listen, the intimate moments between Magneto and Rogue, they're disgusting.
Yuck! Yuck!
But for the sake of the show, it's providing good ass drama because Rogue is really considering the request, but she's also like, well, damn, like Gambit's here and I still love him, but I also got feelings for you. I hate it, but for the sake of XMEN 97 and for the sake of the drama, it works. But I'm not a fan of this ship between Rogue and Magneto. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I don't know how many times I gotta say it. I'm gonna say it again. I hate it. So back at the S-Mansion, we get a scene between Scott and he is having a conversation who I believed it was Jean, you know? This caught me completely off guard.
Anger is normal, even for mutants. Sometimes you just have to let go.
But yeah, he's having a conversation and he shares a kiss.
It reminds me of
us.
And we all thinking it's Jean until Jean actually pops in and like, oh, what's going on here?
Jean. If you'll excuse us, Madeline.
So Jean breaks up the psychic connection between Madeline and Scott, and look who we see, not minding her business.
Something wrong, Miss Pryor?
Sorry, mine just drifted a moment.
Mind drift indeed.
Again, I love me some Emma Frost. She's watching the whole entire shit going down and she is amused. So then we get an argument between Jean and Scott, and honestly, I don't know which side to be on because they're both wrong. They are both wrong in this situation. They're not being considerate of each other's feelings. Like, this is the definition of toxic. So let's just start with Jean.
But I turned my back for you. Sinister cuts out a part of me and you love it? That wasn't love in there. It's ego.
Jean, Scott is still technically married to Madeline. That's still his wife. He married her. He had a baby with her. Their marriage is not annulled just because you came back in the picture. And Jean, you have to be a little bit more compassionate because he just found out the woman that he loves is a clone of you. And then on top of that, their child has a deadly disease, an incurable disease, and he had to send his newborn into the future. But then on top of that, you just kissed Wolverine.
Ooh. A lot going on.
So, what is your argument here? It's not really making sense, Jean. Like, I can't really be on your side here. Like, what's going on? And then Scott.
And you? You don't trust your memories. Do you even love me?
My love for you is the one thing I remember.
Remember or feel? Do you love me, Jean? Or am I just a lovely memory?
Oh my God, this is some toxic ass Scott. Jean just found out that there's a whole entire clone of her. Not only that, this clone has her memories. Not only that, this clone married the love of your life. This clone married you. And not only that, the clone had a baby by you. And not only that, her memories have been erased. So she's trying to relearn who she is as a grown-ass woman. It's like, what am I watching right now? Is this Scott Summers and Jean Grey, or is this Blueface and Krishan Rock? Boy, oh boy, the drama.
G-H-E-T-T-O.
But then the drama gets interrupted because Jean has a nosebleed.
Jean, what is it?
And it's like, well, where the hell did this come from? But then we move on to the next scene.
Hey there.
So then the X drama continues. Lord have mercy. At this point, I'm gonna just need all the X-Men to stay single, because why is it so much relationship drama in this damn show?
It's too early. It's too early. It's too early.
So Rogue visits Gambit. Rogue tells Gambit about the offer that Magneto gave her. And not only that, she provides a backstory. Now, this is where things go left for us Rogue fans. And this is where things go left for a lot of X-Men fans. Because it's like, what story are we trying to tell here?
My evil mother, she knew a fella who could help. An associate. The man seemed nice enough. Seemed to want to help. Other things started happening.
When Rogue was with Mystique, she was a teenager. That whole era of Rogue being under Mystique, serving as a villain with the Brotherhood, and then attacking Ms. Marvel, she was a teenager. She was a teenager before she joined the X-Men. And so basically we're saying in this story that Mystique brought her teenage child to some old ass nigga to help her control her powers. Mystique would never do anything like that. That's number one. But then number two, groomer?
Yuck! Yuck!
Is that what we selling here? Magneto is a groomer? He's having sex with a minor?
A minor.
Who thought of this storyline? This is so inaccurate. That's number one. This has never happened. This is not comic accurate whatsoever. Why did we go here? Why did we go here? Magneto, who's like in his, 50s, 60s, is catering to a teenager who's like 16, 17, even if she is 18. It's such a big age gap. And you're saying that he had sex with this girl? What? Ew.
You're a victim.
Here we go, CSI.
So we can see that Gambit is like visibly upset with Rogue, and like I don't blame him, because it's like, why are you telling me this? I don't give a fuck about Magneto. I give a fuck about you. And you're telling me you're about to take his offer. Why? Because you can touch his skin? Like, what's up with this? And they have this whole big dramatic spiel.
Like telling Gambit the dang truth.
I can't touch you, Remy. You light up everything you touch, but never me.
For the sake of the show, the dramatics, it works. But this is so out of Rogue's character. It just doesn't really make sense, even if everything does not have to be comic book accurate. But y'all have to remember, X-Men 97 is a continuity of the original X-Men, the animated series. You know, this is just a continuation of the series. And with Rogue displaying so much passion and emphasis on her not being able to touch Gambit, and the reason why she has feelings for Magneto is because she's able to touch him. The reason why it doesn't make sense is because Gambit and Rogue, they touched and kissed in the original series.
I'm frightened, Gambit. I don't know how to fight them without my powers.
Gambit loves you.
And then on top of that, it does not make sense to Rogue's story, her character arc, because part of her development, her maturity, how she is as a person, she is not defined by touching people. She's made peace with it because her first boyfriend, Cody, he fell into a coma after they shared a kiss. But then the next big dramatic situation was her interaction with Carol Danvers. After that situation what happened, and she permanently stole Carol's powers and observed her subconscious, she was like, listen, I realize how dangerous my powers are. And I realized, like, I can define myself as a human being without being able to touch somebody. I can love somebody. I can be around people. I can interact. I can be socially engaged without prioritizing physical contact. So it's just very weird how Rogue was adapted in this particular episode, because as a big Rogue fan, it doesn't really make sense to her character. But again, everything don't have to be comic book accurate. But if we're sticking to the continuity of X-Men, the animated series, Rogue already kissed Gambit. Rogue has already touched Gambit. Rogue does not even care for Magneto. So it's like, where did this retcon come from? I don't know. I don't like it. I'm being picky. I don't care. It is what it is. Let's move on. So then we are at the gala. Genosha, they're having a party, a big gala to celebrate Genosha becoming a country and being adopted into the United Nations. So we just see the mutants being dressed up, having fun, having drinks, having a good time. Magneto enters the party. He is seeing how mutants are having a good time. He runs across Sebastian Shaw and Emma Frost, and then Valerie Cooper walks up. It's like, what's wrong with you? Why are you so mad?
Whatever is the matter, Dr. Cooper?
Is it your dress?
But apparently Valerie Cooper feels some type of way that they crown Magneto to be, you know, the chancellor, the leader of Genosha. And it's just like, why?
Most other nations don't allow a terrorist to be their leader.
Yet so many allow their leaders to be terrorists.
I thought y'all were good in episode 2. After that whole situation went down with Storm losing her powers, and Magneto's like, listen, I'm walking Xavier's path. Like, I thought y'all was good. So why are you upset with him being the leader of a mutant nation? And then Rogue enters the party. She enters the party and she dances with Magneto. And not only that, the dress that she's wearing, it's a dress from the comic books. That dress is actually the dress that she wore on the very first date. The very first date that she went on with Gambit. So you guys decided to adopt that dress in this show for Magneto. And then not only that, y'all showcase Magneto and Rogue touching each other. And the camera just so happens to pan to Gambit so we could catch his reaction. All right. And then they're just dancing in the silhouette, dancing to the music. Everybody is just staring at them like, oh my God, Magneto and Rogue. And then they share a kiss. I hate this so much.
Yuck! Yuck!
And then the camera pans over to Madeline. She's at the bar and she gets a nosebleed, the same nosebleed as Jean. And it's just like, what's going on? hell's going on? What's happening here? So Madeline, she steps outside to get some air, and then we see Cable. Cable walks up. He's in like a panic mode, and then it's revealed that Cable is Nathan.
Eyes. You made it.
I mean, I knew that because, you know, like I said, I'm an X-Men comic book reader. But for the people that didn't know, Cable is the son of Madeline Pryor and Scott Summers. His name is Nathan Summers. So this is baby Nathan, all grown up. He's back from the future, and he's a grown-ass adult. He looks like an older version of the white McFury. That's who he looks like. But he ports away, and next thing you know, I remember when I first saw this, I was like, whoa, hold on. This just sent my anxiety through the roof because I'm like, what is happening? What is happening in this moment? Like, I shouldn't be surprised because shit like this happens in the X-Men comic books. Like, random events will just pop out of nowhere. You're just into the story, you're reading about the character dynamics, and you're just following along, and then boom, some bullshit goes down.
Roll! Get to the gardens! Hurry!
Then the robot was aiming at Magneto and Rogue, but they're still in shock. Like, they don't even know what's going on. They don't know how to react. They just seen Banshee get killed. And before they can even move, in comes Nightcrawler. I love how they demonstrated Nightcrawler's powers in that moment, and I love how they just slowed it down to show, like, you know, Nightcrawler, he's quick. You know, he don't play no games, especially in emergency situations like this. Oh yeah, like, it's time to get it going.
You go at it, you end up dead. Can't even dent it.
Death to all of them.
Magneto, Gambit, and Rogue, they catch their breath. They are done reacting to everything. Now it's time to go into offense mode. Like, it's time to attack.
We shall not live our days wondering if we could have saved more.
And then we see Magneto, he's going for the big gun. He's going for the head Sentinel in charge. So, you know, he's firing everything at the Sentinel, and then the Sentinel fires back, and the power, like, knocks him off his ass. He bumps into a statue, and then the statue falls on a whole bunch of mutant civilians, which I'm just like, damn. Then we see the Morlocks. Their leader, Callisto, she's been killed. So, you know, the Morlocks, they're a mutant community underground. You know, they have visible mutations. So they're kind of like the outcasts, you know, and they're treated like second-class citizens. They don't have a leader, and they're scared. Like, they don't know what to do. They just see Sentinels killing people, and they're just frantic. And next thing you know, we see Gambit come in. In this moment, it's just so beautiful because if you know about Gambit's history in terms of the mutant massacre in the comics, it went left. It was just one of the darkest, most ugliest side to Gambit's past. But I love how X-Men 97 took that moment and just turned it into a beautiful scene for the sake of the show. I absolutely loved it. So Gambit has the Morlocks, they're escaping, and then they see Magneto being knocked off his ass. And we see the big, powerful Sentinel. He blasts Magneto. And so Rogue sees that Magneto is getting blasted by this Sentinel, and again, for the sake of the show, it was good. But I just hate the Rogue trying to save Magneto. I hate it. I hate everything about this relationship. It is absolutely disgusting. And then we see this moment between Magneto and Leech. Leech is scared. He's looking at Magneto like, I'm scared. Like, please protect me. He's holding on to him. He's hugging his whole entire body. And Magneto's like, I'm sorry.
Hab keine Angst.
And I'll say this, because I remember in episode 2, I was doing a lot of complaining about too much Magneto. I still feel like it's too much Magneto. Like, I still feel like he's getting way more screen time than a lot of the other X-Men. But, you know, I appreciate Magneto being on the team. I do not appreciate the ship between Magneto and Rogue. I do not appreciate that at all. But this episode, it wasn't too much Magneto compared to episode 2. Like, episode 2, they was doing a lot. And then still in this episode, Magneto had way more screen time than a lot of actual X-Men characters. But, you know, it worked. For the sake of this show, it worked. So then Rogue reacts to Magneto being killed. Shout out to the animators, because I love how they're displaying Rogue's raw emotion, the tears in her eyes, the frustration on her face. She's pissed and she wants blood because Magneto has been killed, even though it's like, why are you doing all that for Magneto? But whatever. Alright, so then we see Gambit. He takes a leap of faith and he's like, listen, I'm going to destroy this Sentinel one way or another.
The cards always be in my favor. The name's Gambit, mon ami. Remember it.
Woo! What a moment. What a moment. I love Gambit. He went out like a hero because Gambit is a hero. I love this moment. I don't know why they decided to sacrifice Gambit, but the only thing you did was just increase his popularity. Gambit died a hero and he is that hero and can't nobody with him. And like I said, they've been doing all this, giving Magneto so much screen time. Magneto didn't even matter in this episode because Gambit went out like a straight up G. Whoa, but I'm not gonna lie. This last scene with the Rogue and Gambit, oh boy.
Sugar, I can't feel you.
Oh, oh my goodness. That just triggered me emotionally. Oh my God.
Oh.
This episode was a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Even though, like I said, I hated the ship between Magneto and Rogue. I hated the implication, like they're just big, massive, dramatic, loving couple. I hate that relationship.
Yuck! Yuck!
This episode did not miss. The dramatics was there, the action was there, the genocide was there, the emotion, the raw ass emotions was there. I absolutely loved this episode so much. So much. And again, shout out to my boy Gambit. Shout out to my boy Gambit. He died as a hero. But hold up. All right, hold on. So, we lost Storm. We lost Bishop, and now we lost Gambit. That's 3 X-Men down. That's 3 X-Men down. What are we doing? Who do we have left? Let's rewind back to that scene of them watching television. Okay, so we have Jubilee, Sunspot, Cyclops, Beast, Jean, Morph, Wolverine, and we still have Rogue that's in Genosha. What the team is just getting weaker and weaker and weaker by the episode. It's like, what the hell is going on here? Whatever. I still enjoyed the episode. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. Shout out to the GOAT.